Cheers to the stop that never stopped. To the flavor that found its way into everything. From just one spot to America's #1 spot for wings. This isn't just a meal, it's an arrival. Wingstop is here. Found its way into everything. Spot to America's #1 spot for wings. This isn't just a meal, it's an arrival. Wingstop is here. Found its way into everything. Spot to America's #1 spot for wings. This isn't just a meal, it's an arrival. Wingstop is here. Found its way
Progressive makes getting claim support so easy.
Joe Lyons is passive progressive.
Wow, they support you, Grandma supports you. You're a lucky guy.
Joe doesn't have progressive and takes it out on those who do.
And Progressive makes it easy to make changes to my policy.
Oh great, you can add Sarah here.
It's Julie.
Right, Sarah was the one your mom really liked. Hi, Julie.
I'm putting my Progressive savings towards another cruise.
Look how young you were.
Don't be passive progressive.
Look how cute you were
Get good coverage and savings for yourself.
before you could talk.
I know there's pain.
Why I'm uncomfortable with the pain.
Letting these hours pass me by, baby.
Taxes was painful.
I'll take it from here.
Now Taxes is a local TurboTax expert ready to tag in and file for you.
I'm originally from France, but I always wanted to be a cowboy. So I landed here in Paris, Texas. I'm a hybrid cowboy in a hybrid town, driving a Hyundai Hybrid.
He has his own kind of style.
Howdy! My Hyundai Santa Fe is capable and efficient.
That is one mean-looking hybrid.
And it comes with America's best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts down my need for fuel, which means more cheese on my plate. Omelette du fromage. Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds.
One mean-looking hybrid.
And it comes with America's best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts down my need for fuel, which means more cheese on my plate. Omelette du fromage. Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds.
One mean-looking hybrid.
And it comes with America's best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts down my need for fuel, which means more cheese on my plate. Omelette du fromage. Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds.
One mean-looking hybrid.
And it comes with America's best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts down my need for fuel, which means more cheese on my plate. Omelette du fromage. Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds.
One mean-looking hybrid.
And it comes with America's best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts down my need for fuel, which means more cheese on my plate. Omelette du fromage. Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds.
One mean-looking hybrid.
And it comes with America's best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts down my need for fuel.
Sorry, I had my mic off.
Omelette du fromage. Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds.
One mean-looking hybrid.
Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat too, so if you ask something,
Best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts down
be
my
patient.
need
It
for
might,
fuel.
I'll answer.
Sorry,
I had my mic off. Look at the
Omelette
chat
du
to
fromage.
notice it.
Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds.
One mean-looking hybrid.
Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat too, so if you ask something,
Best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts down
be
my
patient.
need
It
for
might,
fuel.
I'll answer.
Sorry,
I had my mic off. Look at the
Omelette
chat
du
to
fromage.
notice it.
Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds.
One mean-looking hybrid.
Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat too, so if you ask something,
Best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts down
be
my
patient.
need
It
for
might,
fuel.
I'll answer. Sorry, I I had had my my mic
Omelette
off.
du
Look at the
fromage.
chat to notice it.
Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds.
Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat too, so if you ask something,
Best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts down
be
my
patient.
need
It
for
might,
fuel.
I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic off. Look at the
Omelette
chat
du
to
fromage.
notice it.
Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds.
Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat too, so if you ask something,
Best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts down
be
my
patient.
need
It
for
might,
fuel.
I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic off. Look at the
Omelette
chat
du
to
fromage.
notice it.
Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds.
Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat too, so if you ask something,
Best warranty. As a hybrid, it cuts
be
down my
patient.
need
It
for
might,
fuel.
I'll answer.
Sorry,
I had my mic off. Look at the chat to notice it.
Tell me these aren't America's best hybrids. You cannot.
Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat too, so ask something. Be patient. I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic on. Look at the chat. Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat too, so ask something. Be patient. I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic on. Look at the chat. Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat too, so ask something. Be patient. I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic on. Look at the chat. Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat too, so ask something. Be patient. I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic on. Look at the chat. Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat too, so ask something. Be patient. I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic on. Look at the chat. This damn game. Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat. It's ridiculous. Ask something. Be patient. I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic on. Look at the chat. This damn game. Dimension. Everything's off. Fucking thing. Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat. It's ridiculous. Ask something. Be patient. I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic on. Look at the chat. This damn game. Dimension. Everything's off. Fucking thing. If the game wasn't so damn bugged, we would have been done already. Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat. It's ridiculous. Ask something. What? Be patient. I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic on. Look at the chat. This damn game. Dimension. Everything's off. Fucking thing. If the game wasn't so damn bugged, we would have been done already. Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat. It's ridiculous. Ask something. What? Be patient. I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic on. Look at the chat. This damn game. Dimension. Everything's off. Fucking thing. If the game wasn't so damn bugged, we would have been done already. Sometimes it takes me a bit to look at the chat. It's ridiculous. Ask something. What? Be patient. I'll answer. Sorry, I had my mic on. Look at the chat. This damn game. Dimension. Everything's off. Fucking thing.
Okay, I'll come in on you, I guess.
Yeah. I just came in for a little while, so figured some of the missions have updated. They've got they show you which blueprints they have. You know, when you pick a mission.
Yeah. That's that. You know, that thing reloaded. That does that.
Do what?
That's that. You know that.
Oh, I thought that was part of the game.
No, that's that's that frickin' thing we put on.
Gotcha.
That does that. Again, best frickin' thing I've seen.
Yeah.
It's frickin' amazing.
Yep.
I was bitching about it, and then I saw that frickin' video, and I was like, oh man, I am gonna get that. I did. I had installed it.
Yeah, that's pretty
Otherwise,
cool.
you have no idea what you're doing. You don't know. You know, it's.
Yep.
You're just blind guesswork, which is not fun. I don't play games that just randomly bump into shit I want to do. All right, well, what do I want to do?
I'm just doing some missions for a while, get a few blueprints, and that's about it. It's freaking 21:30, so Nobody's been in all night, so I just sat around doing nothing.
There was just a lot of shit going on.
No, I know. It's just, you know.
And then there was the launch, then there was Trump's speech, and then,
No, I don't give a shit. I watched the launch, but that Trump, I don't give a shit. I figured out that's one thing I just gotta stop doing. It's too much. Brings on too much stress.
Don't let it stress you out.
Well, it's a lot easier said than done when you're talking politics and this ongoing circle of bullshit between the Democrats and the Republicans. I mean, huh?
I said, oh, I suppose.
Well, that's what it is. They never accomplish anything because it's just it's a circus. It's a show.
I don't want to argue with you.
I know. But I finally figured it out, so.
Good, then don't pay attention to it.
I don't?
You shouldn't vote either.
Why? I can get the information on who's running and vote still. Not a problem. Not a problem at all.
That's all right.
I'll even show my ID. Well, I have to since my state.
See, I heard some of the arguments. I don't know. Even Kavanaugh's leading.
I don't think Trump's going to win. I think he's going to lose.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I think there's a decent. I think it's at this point, from what I heard on
Congress needs to update the law. The amendment.
It's not about the law. The Congress can't update the Constitution.
Yes, it can. They can put forth a constitutional amendment.
They cannot.
They can put forth. They have to put forth a constitutional amendment.
Yes, they can, but it's not just them.
I didn't say it was.
Okay.
But they can't do anything
until. It's like step one of.
I understand that.
30 something.
I know that.
So.
But you can't do anything without Congress taking that first step.
Wrong. You absolutely can do it without Congress being involved at all.
Well, yeah, if you have a constitutional convention of states, which is not going to happen.
It's not a constitutional convention. It's just Article 5 process. If you want to call it that, that's fine. But the Constitution does not call it that. It's just an Article 5 convention of states. They don't call it a constitutional convention. They just.
Well, that's what the founding documents call it, so. That's what I'm calling it.
It's under Article 5.
It's under Article 5, but they call it a convention of states. Literally.
Yes. Yes, that is what they call it. They don't call it a constitutional convention.
Well,
that's my point.
It's a constitutional convention by...
No, it's not. It's a convention of states.
Whatever.
They can do other
I'm not going to argue with you.
Article 5.
Whatever. You're nitpicking words.
Well,
Jesus.
Words are fucking important, okay? Because people conflate it.
It's not being conflated. It has to follow the Constitution.
Didn't say you. I'm saying some people conflate that term incorrectly. So I don't like to use it when it's not appropriate.
Well, it is because it's basically the states have to follow the Constitution in order to have an Article 5. And they have to follow the rules there set in the Constitution to change anything.
Of course. So does the Senate and the House.
Right.
It's no different.
Right, but while a convention is in session, the Constitution is the law, and the Congress and Senate have no say.
Article 1 and one starts in Article 5.
Right, but my point is, when a convention is in process, the Congress and the Senate have no power.
Yeah, they have nothing to do with
it.
Their only role under Article 5 is to set the date.
Which is why when I went through school, I was taught it's a constitutional convention of states by the way what it's intended for. So that's what I've called it, since that's what I learned. Because they, in essence, now dictate or
Here's the
determine
problem,
what's going to
right?
happen.
The reason that language it freaks a lot of people out, they think that it means they can convene and bring up amendments on any subject, right, under the sun.
If a state's
Which is
ratified
wrong.
it. If a state's ratified it, they can.
No.
Oh, yes, they can.
That's it. This is
If you-
pre-ratification. Pre-ratification.
No.
That's post.
Let me
Ratification
finish.
is post.
Let me finish.
No, let me finish, because you
You're
said
wrong.
it wrong, and I
You're
wanna
wrong.
correct you.
You are wrong.
I haven't said what I want to say to
Okay,
you
then
yet.
say it.
Okay. The states all, okay, or at least a majority, right, have to agree on specific amendment language, all right? And they cannot deviate from that during a state's convention. That is what they are there, and they can discuss those topics that were voted on at each state prior to the state's convention. They cannot free roam on any subject. It is limited to what the states agreed to meet and discuss.
They can,
That is
any
in the
state,
Constitution.
any state can ratify what they want to discuss in the convention.
That is
Let me finish.
ratification
I
of
let
a
you finish.
past.
No, let me finish. Any state, right now, if you go look at the Convention of States list, every state has had to ratify and place in the docket what they want to cover during the convention. During the convention, all
And it
50
must
states,
be
let me finish.
identical.
No, they don't. Let me finish.
Yeah, it does.
No, they don't. Let me finish. Because a bunch of, go look at the fucking thing, because a whole bunch of states have a whole bunch of different objects and items they want to discuss in the convention. What has to happen is they are brought forth at the convention, and all 50 state representatives that are there then decide which ones they will move forward with and which ones they will not as a consensus. Any
Wrong.
state.
They have to pass the state's house, however they're set up, prior. And the language has to be exact. Once.
I don't know where you're
majority
getting your
of
information,
states-
but you're wrong.
It's fucking from the Constitution. because
No,
they won't
any
allow it.
state.
That's why.
Go
that's
look
why it's
it
so
up.
difficult.
The fucking list is online. So many states have different ideas of what they want in the convention that
Yes.
let me finish.
And
That they've
if one of
ratified.
those ideas is passed by the House and Senate of the majority of states.
No.
they meet on
Each
that
state decides what it wants to bring up and votes on that for their convention.
Wrong.
Go look it up.
You're wrong.
Go look it up. Because some of the states have stupid ass shit in their list that they ratified for the convention.
No, they all have to pass the same agreement language.
That's later
If
when they
do not,
decide.
then there will not be a convention of states called.
P-Gill,
It's
that's.
a prerequisite. Don't argue.
Whatever,
Just
whatever,
fucking go read
whatever.
Article
You're
5.
wrong.
But
You're
it's
wrong.
very here, let me make an analogy for you, okay? Here's an analogy. Senator A puts forth a bill with this language, okay? Senator B puts forth another bill of different language, okay? And C and so forth. And they all vote on all these bills that were presented by these 5 different senators. Do they all pass, but without a majority of them all voting on the exact language? No, they do not. All the senators, they all have to agree on the exact language before it can go to the states for ratification. They don't call out, they don't send it out there and say, "Hey guys,
You're
we got
not
these
listening
20
to you're
things that
you know
none
the
of us
argument's
voted
over.
for,
You're not
majority,
listening to what I'm
but we
saying.
want you to all
Argument's
fucking
over.
ratify it.
I'm
Vote
done.
on
I'm done. You
ratification.
are not even listening to what I'm saying.
Get
You're talking about the end game. You're talking about when the bill then goes to the states to be ratified. That's not what I'm talking about.
I was trying to make an analogy.
That is not what I'm talking about.
One path
Well, you're
to
talking
the
about
other
something
side.
completely different. You're talking about the
It's
end
not
game.
completely different.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You're talking about when all the states have finally decided what they're going to do and ratify or decide on. Then they send it to the states for ratification. You're talking about, okay, we've decided that we're going to change these 5 amendments.
No.
Here's how we're going to do it. Here's what we want to do.
So,
Now we voted on it as a group. We've decided these 5 are the ones we're going with. These go to each of our independent states for vote.
the first language, the first thing I'm talking about with the states under Article 5, it is not at all a constitutional amendment. What they agree on, it has to be exact language, it's like ground rules. We're going to meet and we're going to discuss, and it can be this general, but the language just has to be the same. Could be, we want to discuss limiting the power of the federal government. It could literally be that vague. Okay, we want to discuss that. We want to discuss possible
You're skipping a whole step.
removal of the
You're skipping an
removing
entire
the
step,
19th
Pigo.
Amendment.
You're
want to discuss
You're
that.
skipping a whole step in the process. A completely whole step you're skipping right over.
That is the first step.
No, it's not. You're skipping a complete step.
Well, you have to come up with this one document, right? That says this is
Correct.
what we want to meet and
That's
discuss
later.
as states under Article 5.
And that's what happens
And
when
then-
you get to the convention.
Then a majority of the states then have to pass that exact thing in each of their houses. Okay? Not the
No.
majority of them. Everybody gets to do it, but as soon as a majority does, then it triggers, and they set the date to meet and discuss what they all just passed.
You're completely missing an entire step in the
How
process.
about you just fucking Google Article 5
I don't need to
process
Google it.
and
I got an
read
A.
it.
I got an A in history. I know what what the process is. I know what our state went through.
Constitutional law.
I
wouldn't
know
really
what
call
our
it history.
I know what our state went through when we got ours passed.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's been stalled. The latest one.
Because
that
because 18 states or something haven't ratified anything.
Yeah.
The problem
It's
is
not about
the problem
ratifying.
is
It's about passing that document language for an Article 5 states convention. It has
wrong.
to be passed
Wrong.
by
You're skipping a whole
everybody.
step. You're skipping a whole step.
What fucking step?
In order for a state to call for a convention, the state itself first has to decide what they want to call a convention for. That's voted on by
What did I
the.
just say? You idiot?
No,
That's
you're
what
talking.
I just fucking said.
No, you're talking about after that step. There are two processes of voting.
That is the exact step.
No, there's two processes of
And
voting.
It has to be the exact same language.
What's the second
by
step?
every
What's
fucking state.
What's the first step of voting?
Wisconsin's language can't be different from
What?
other
I don't give a shit about the language right now. Answer my question. What is the first vote that takes place?
Well, it's votes on what they are going to meet and discuss.
On who's going to meet and discuss? What are you talking about?
Be,
Who
it
are
can't
you
be
talking
anything
about?
Under the sun.
Who are you talking about?
The legislatures of the state.
Of all states together? All states separate?
It could be any one state could start it, but it must progress to all other states until they get a majority.
Okay, so what's the
of
first?
that
What's the?
exact document?
What's the
It
first?
Can start in any fucking state you want, but it's got to then go to every other state, and until a majority of states vote and agree to meet on that document, which is the ground rules, you will not have a convention of states.
Well, you're wrong. You're
not
skipping
wrong.
a step. You're skipping an entire process.
What fucking step? Again, what step?
How do you think a state decides what it wants to have a convention for? They just come out of the blue and go, we're going to have a convention and we want corn to grow taller.
It could start with just some regular old citizens
No, it can't.
petitioning
No,
their
it can't.
representatives
No, it can't.
in their
No, it can't.
own state.
No, it
Those
can't.
representatives then have to bring it to the floor in their respective
So you
state,
know all
and they
50
have to
states how
construct the language.
you know the
You know
Constitution
what
of.
there is, though? There's usually a fuck ton of lawyers involved.
So you know all 50 states' laws and how they do this. in their constitution.
First off, this isn't about states' constitution.
Yes,
this
it is.
The federal fucking constitution.
It's the
and all states have to follow.
You're wrong.
Period.
You're missing a step.
Now, how you might do that in your particular state, I don't know. Maybe there's some differences. Obviously, all our
We're not going to settle it.
Are not
You're missing a complete step.
The same way.
You're missing.
My particular state mirrors almost exactly the federal government structure. Your state is
missing.
Probably some fucking stupid bullshit fucking amalgamation of shit. I don't know, Wisconsin.
Do you know that Wisconsin's one of the founding states? It's part of the Northwest Territories.
My state's the bicentennial state. I guess we learned a lot by the time they got to me. At any rate.
You're missing a whole step, so there's no point in arguing.
It still starts with one state passing, and then all the other states got to pass it, or at least the majority of them, before it triggers. Now, if you're saying, oh, well, that one state's got to figure out what to do and put in the language, well, yeah. It's best if you do some groundwork and talk to other states before you do it. If you want to be like, what do you think will work? What do you think we can get around everybody? And then you bring that language into a document. You probably pass it around a shit ton to a lot of people in politics. And then eventually you get it passed in a state. At that point, it can start going to any other states, and they have to agree to take it up. They may not agree to take it up. It could just sit there and fucking die for 1,000 years before that, and do nothing.
Yep.
But you got to convince them. Hey, this is here to you. Can you take this up and vote on it? And you got to get sponsors. And you got to do this other shit. That's it. It's a long and drawn out bullshit political process, which it should be. So, yeah, there's a whole bunch of ones that have died on the vine out there. Whatever. Jesus. And there has never been one passed through Article 5 in the history of our country. Ever.
Actually,
Probably
there
for
has.
this very reason.
Every constitutional amendment. Every single constitutional amendment.
The Bill of Rights, yes. But anything past the founding was not.
Every constitutional amendment has to have a vote of the states.
That's Article. You're conflating Article 1 and Article 5 process.
No, I am not. But whatever, I'm not going to argue with you.
They're different. What's your point? I'm telling you.
I'm not going to argue with you. Enough.
Okay, can you name me the amendment, other than the founding amendments, mind you, that were passed under Article 5?
The 14th Amendment.
Negative. Absolutely not.
What is the 14th Amendment for?
Was fucking not.
What is the 14th Amendment?
Well, the 14th Amendment is a post-Civil War piece of legislation that is kind of modeled after 2 years prior, the federal government had passed an act, citizenship in it and other things, and then they felt, you know what, any fucking Congress might be able to just overrule us. So 2 years later, that Congress, federal, not a state, fucking federal Congress, then created the 14th Amendment and passed it.
And who ratified it? And who ratified it?
Well, of course the states have to ratify
it.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That's part of the convention.
But you know what they ratify? The exact fucking document that was passed by that Congress. Okay?
It's still part of the convention.
They couldn't change it. They couldn't do shit.
They can change it.
Yeah, we agree, or no, we don't.
Right, but it's still part of the convention. Doesn't matter if they change it or not.
At that point, that is not a convention.
Yes, it is, because it takes 3/4. It sure as hell is.
Not all meeting in a room.
How many states? They don't have to meet in a room. Nowhere does it say they have to meet in a room. How many votes does it take to pass an amendment?
Article 5.
How many? No, they don't. How many states does it take to pass an amendment? 3/4.
3/4.
And it requires 3/4 to have a convention.
I don't believe it's 3/4.
Yes, it is.
I believe it is just a majority.
Nope, it's 3/4. If it were a majority, we'd already have one. If it were a majority, we'd already have one. We're not a.
We don't have 25 past it yet. We're at 18. It takes 25. Or maybe it's 32. Is it 32?
It's 3/4. It's 3/4.
Is it 32? What's 3/4?
I don't. It's probably 30 something or 28 or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to look. I'm not.
I thought it was just a majority. I thought the bar was you had to have like so it'd be 26 for a majority.
It'd be nice.
50, it's got to be a majority, so it would have to be 26 at a majority. But that doesn't mean shit. That just means that
I think it is 26. I think it is 26.
That triggers Congress, the federal Congress, to then set a date for the state's representatives, mind you. Then the houses all pick their representatives at that point. Okay, they go, okay, you guys, you're going. Okay, every state picks their guys. Every state picks their guys. Whether the other 24 who didn't even vote on it don't matter. Fuck you. You gotta go. So Congress then, federal Congress, they have to set the date. They are mandated. They can't like kick it down the road and just ignore it. They're mandated to set the date. They have a certain amount of time.
You should go look up. I just looked it up to check and make sure I'm right.
Look up the Article 5 process. Yeah.
Oh, no. Just go look up Constitutional Convention of States and look how many there have been. Yeah, 233
attempts.
No. The Constitutional Convention has been the only federal one. The 50 states have held 233 of them.
Okay.
38 of 50 states have to agree.
How many constitutional amendments have passed out of Article 5 process?
It doesn't say.
Because it's 0. That's why.
No. Oh, whatever.
Yes.
I'm done.
It's a simple search.
You cannot have an amendment to the U.S. Constitution without a 3/4 vote of the Convention of States. You can't do it.
Well, it has to be right. Even so, say they agree, right? Once their date's set, those states' representatives meet and they start hashing out on the specific things they agreed to discuss. They can't start talking about abortion if they didn't have abortion in there. Right?
I understand that. That's the later process.
Then they start hashing out, and they might or might not agree, right, to write an amendment to the Constitution, right?
Yeah, but that's the later process.
Let's say they do. Let's say the majority of them say, hey, we have this language, we want this to be, what the fuck are we on? The 30th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, right? Or, I know, this is even better. We want to just, what's the word? Basically, remove the 19th Amendment of the Constitution. That would be fantastic. We want to nullify or we want to remove the 19th Amendment or whatever. Just completely. Wipe it from the slate, right? And they agreed on that. They voted on it. And now it's got to go to the full, legislature of every state and be voted on, ratified, the language, right? And to be ratified. And again, if those full legislatures of the states don't pass it in whatever the 3/4 of the states is, then it doesn't go anywhere. It's done. That's it.
You're still missing an entire step.
Well, sorry. I didn't.
Let me ask you this.
My fucking constitutional law degree.
Let me
abbreviation. It's pretty fucking close.
Let me ask you this way. What? Can the states do an amendment without Congress and Senate?
You talking about the federal Congress and Senate?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The only role the federal Congress have in an Article 5 process is setting the date that the states then meet with their representatives for the states' convention.
Right. They can also propose.
Setting the date.
They can also propose.
They don't fucking vote for shit. No. They don't get to approve. They don't get.
That's not what I said.
That's not what I said. Say about it.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
What did you say? You said what role?
I said the Congress, let me finish. The Congress can propose a change to an amendment, which then has to go through the state's process.
Again, you're now jumping to, now you're trying to sidetrack something into an Article 1.
No, I'm just telling you how it works. I don't care if it's Article 1, 5, 10, or 15.
Article 5 and Article 1 process. They are not fucking the same.
I give up.
One, let me put it this way. One bypasses the federal government completely. That is Article 5.
Which is the current process they're using.
Sure. Many people have tried Article 5 over the years. They just haven't ever succeeded in getting it passed by a majority of the states.
Well, not according to what I just looked up.
What are you looking up?
I just told you. I went and looked up this to make sure I was right.
You said there's how many?
233.
Have been held?
233.
Those are how many proposed Article 5.
No, it says in clear. Well, the government then
How many of those 235?
Well, then the federal government putting out misinformation because it's their own fucking.
You a simple question: how many of those 238?
33.
Has passed in 26 of the states?
I don't know. It doesn't say on that specific page I was looking at.
0 of them.
How do you know? What? Give me your cites, your evidence.
Because we've never had a post-fucking founding convention of states.
We have 233 of them.
No. You're wrong.
Well, then the federal government's wrong because it's their own records.
I think you're conflating the states that have proposed something for all the states legislatures to vote on to have a convention of states with them actually having a convention of states. They're two different things. See what I'm saying here?
No, I don't, because whatever.
It's not whatever. It's unfortunately...
The fact that you're not even going to bother to look up what I told you is amazing.
I've looked it up.
You did not look it up. If you looked it up, you would have read what I just read.
I have in the past. I haven't today. What here? Oh, let me get out of the game. So the application, it is actually 34 have to pass it. It's not 26. Okay. Well, I'll have to verify that. But, okay. Then Congress is mandated by 2/3 vote. And they exercise with 0 authority other than setting the time and place. Okay. That's their role. But they are mandated to do it, and they cannot shirk that responsibility. That's their whole role.
Article
After
5.
the application, an identical application, has been passed by at least 34 states. That's the application. Then after the application, which has to be the exact language, can't be slightly different in Wisconsin or in this state or that state. It's got to be fucking identical.
No, it doesn't. And I'll read you the text.
It absolutely does.
Each state, and I'm quoting, each state has its own constitutional rules, with some requiring a public vote while others allow the legislature to decide. As of 2023, in the current, 42 states have specific procedures governing how a convention can be called, and the requirements do vary significantly.
Okay. So, 34 state legislatures must apply for a convention to propose amendments
Correct.
on a specified topic. The topics must be the same for all states that apply.
Well, it's not. That's probably what the holdup is.
If they are not, it's fucking never going to go anywhere. Okay?
Right.
So
but that vote does not happen until the convention is called. Then they decide what they're going to...
Negative. This is application phase. Phase 1, application phase.
You know, you also said Congress. You also said Congress can't freaking propose a constitutional amendment.
The federal when on an Article 5, don't conflate other shit. Once the application has been passed by 34 states, it's triggered, and the Congress has to set the place and date.
You're not even going to let me fucking finish. I'll read you some more. Article 5 lays out 3 paths for changing the Constitution. The most familiar is by Congress. 2/3 vote of each House can propose a constitutional amendment on virtually any subject. End quote.
That's under Article 1.
That's under Article 5. I just read it.
Article 5 talks about it, but guess who the Congress is?
Article 5, listen to what I'm reading. Article 5 lays out 3 paths.
Yeah.
That's a quote.
In the Constitution or from somebody else?
From the government's National Constitution Center. That's where I'm reading it. Article 5 lays out 3 paths for changing the Constitution. The most familiar one is a Congress by 2/3 vote of each House can propose a constitutional amendment on virtually any subject.
Sure.
But that's not
the federal House and Senate. That's not the states.
That's irrelevant at this moment because that's not what oh God, forget it. You're just going in a loop.
No, you are.
No, I'm not. Because eventually, regardless how it gets to the convention, the states individually then have to use their rules to vote on the amendment.
Okay, so you need to make sure you're looking for the Article 5 Convention of States.
I just read it word for word, quoted. Article 5 procedures. Look it up. I'm not going to keep arguing. I'm done. Fuck.
Good. I don't want to argue with you.
Well, the fact that you won't freaking read what I told you and where I told you is just astounding. You want to just keep arguing.
You don't want to hear what I had to say.
I heard what you said, and you're wrong. I'm trying to prove it to you, but you're just ignoring it. That's why I'm angry. I'm trying to give you the proof, and you don't want to accept it. To me, it doesn't matter who's right or wrong. I just want it to be done. I don't give a shit how it's done.
Damn, they were one state away from actually getting one in 1912. They were one state shy. But it didn't get done.
Wait, what?
That was close. They were arguing about the 17th Amendment.
Oh, that's gotta be. I was thinking, I'm talking about something else. In game, not. Damn it.
After that, there were none for another 50 years. But this time for only half century. Next time, this is one state. 4 states asked Congress for a convention to propose an amendment permitting the United States to terminate 4 states ain't enough. The convention subjects that received support from more than one state in this period included 1 repealing the 16th Amendment, 1 barring polygamy, a 3rd requiring federal legislation to implement international treaties, and the 4th one was revising Article 5 itself to give state legislatures the power to propose and ratify amendments on their own. Again, never got enough votes or states to back it. So it went nowhere. Let's see. The Warren Court, so state legislative appointment, the Warren Court produced the next large wave of Article 5 petitions in 1962. State governments endorsed the National Convention to consider a set of constitutional amendments to weaken federal judicial authority in response to the court's cases of radical desegregation and application of the rights of the states. The response from state legislators were muted. Early 1964, the court held that Warren versus Sims that the state legislatures must be reapportioned on a basis, and the states organized to give extra weight to rural areas, responding to the petitions requesting a Article 5 convention. Rule Reynolds, the constitutional amendment, was proposed to Congress that would have permitted states to have one legislation. Proportionate to population, states reform improved the structure. Amendment 7, over 30 state convention petitions were before Congress, and the 2/3 threshold was in sight. And guess what they did? This time, the Article 5 petitions did not produce a ratified constitutional amendment. One reason for that failure was that lawmakers doubted whether state petitions truly reflected public opinion. A common criticism of these requests is that they came from malapportioned legislatures. A few senators even held that these petitions were invalid because they were sent by assemblies comparable to the rotten boroughs in Britain from non-specific groups, blah, blah, blah. Probably heard too much. First, Article 5 says nothing about the definition of the state legislature. Second, the invalidity claim ran up against Hamilton's assertion in Federalist Papers 85, that's just the Federalist Papers, that Congress lacked discretion to reject state applications, which, in my opinion, was correct. Third, these malproportioned states' legislatures were counted towards ratification of the Fifth Amendment in 1967. Finally, these same legislatures enacted many state laws that were applied without question. These are state laws. A limited objection was that the next state legislature apportioned under the one-person, one-vote rule should be given an opportunity to speak before the state's request was deemed final. At least one of those new legislatures then rescinded their predecessor's convention petition. Can a state legislature withdraw a convention petition? The answer is unclear. One thought is that a state may not rescind its ratification of a constitutional amendment proposed by Congress. If that is correct, the same logic might apply to state sessions of Article 5 petitions. Notice it's different. They make sure to make clear that those are different in that sentence. Whether a state may rescind an amended ratification, though, is unsettled law. The rescission issue for convention petitions is not resolved because the two-thirds requirement for a state apportionment amendment was not met. State enthusiasm for Article 5 applications on legislative apportionment spilled over into other topics about federalism. For instance, some states requested a constitutional convention that would propose an amendment mandating that a portion of annual federal revenue be distributed to the states. The 70s tradition for a national convention on restricting public school busing ordered by federal courts, permitting prayer in public schools, reforming the electoral college to bar large states from rewarding their electors to the winner of that state, and for the use of federal funds to coerce states into adopting regulations that Congress could not directly command. Given all these states' requests, Senator Sam Ervin became also named the chair of the Senate Watergate inquiry about the possibility that a second constitutional convention would be convened and held without rules. The Philadelphia Convention consisted of legislatures deliberating state police procedures would not be acceptable to most Americans in the 1970s. Irving therefore proposed legislation that passed in the Senate but not in the House, setting forth a framework for counting state petitions and regulating the time, place, and manner of any convention that was called. Among the other things, the Federal Convention Act of 1973 would have imposed a 7-year time limit on state Article 5 applications and made clear that, so they're trying to limit how long an Article 5 application would be valid, I guess. So once you start it, and if it doesn't get, 34 votes, 3/4, of the votes, then within that time period, then they got to start it over. Applications are made clear that states could rescind. States also established how many convention delegates there would be from each state, how they would be elected in each state, and how such a convention would operate. And this is process. Irvin's bill also would have required the delegates to swear an oath that they would vote by the call of these rules, blah blah blah. This is just this Irvin guy's, Convention Act 1973, which is fucking rules. Who knows? If the states or delegates would have followed these rules, or if they would have been upheld by the courts against a legal challenge, it was never obviously enacted. To take a simple example, Rhode Island boycotted the 1787 Philadelphia Convention. Consequently, a state probably could refuse to attend a national convention no matter what Congress or other states said. Remember, Rhode Island, that's founded in 1787. State petitions also sometimes purport to dictate how a convention must be held. Some applications specify that a convention must be held on a particular date. Another provided for a national referendum to decide on ratification. Others said that the delegates to the convention must be leading state officials and argued for equal state representation within the convention. Once again, the ability of the states to agree on these conditions and enforce them is highly questionable. All right. Then it gets on. What the hell are you doing? Budget amendment and modern developments in the 70s and 80s reduced the nest. So in the 70s and 80s, there was another burst of state action on constitutional reform, unnerved by what seemed like large federal budget deficits at the time. State legislatures began requesting a convention that would propose a national debt limit or line item veto for the president. But the most popular reform proposal was for a balanced budget amendment. States may well have thought that Congress would not consider a proposed amendment. That would be one I think should be in there. That's still one I would absolutely love to see. Limiting its and term limits. Well, that would be a good topic to make sure is in there. Spending power under the ordinary Article 5 process. Thus, by 1979, convention petitions were issued by 30 states. Different ones, unfortunately. So there were 30 that jumped in there. Senator Barry Goldwater, a former Republican presidential nominee, responded that the Constitutional Convention was very foolhardy and would be a tragic mistake. President Jimmy Carter contended that a convention might do serious or irrevocable damage to the Constitution. Feeling the political pressure, the Senate did pass a balanced budget amendment in 1982, but the proposal failed. Ronald Reagan, who supported the balanced budget amendment, then became the only president to endorse an Article 5 convention. He wrote to legislators in states that were still considering convention resolutions and asked for action. In a national radio address delivered in 1987, President Reagan explained that the unwillingness of Congress to act, quote, inspired a number of Americans to try another method provided for in the Constitution, a constitutional convention. So that's...
I just improved my mood.
This is Reagan's quote.
I just improved my mood. I just found a blueprint for parallax.
Cool. That's nice.
Huh?
That's nice. That's a good one.
Yeah. I just got it. Apparently I can get a blueprint for its ammo, too.
By the way, as I've been reading here, none of these have ever resulted, none of these petitions have ever resulted in an actual convention. So, let's see here. State legislators for approval. Only 2 more states were needed on this one. So this one's pretty close. Not as close as the one in 1912, but pretty fucking close, right? 2 more states are needed to call such a convention. And believe me, if the Congress continues to balk at passing the balanced budget amendment, I think the drive for a constitutional convention will pick up steam. That whole thing is a Ronald Reagan quote from 1987. Despite Reagan's appeals, no other state endorsed a constitutional convention for this purpose during the 1980s. Perhaps some of the wind was taken out of the balanced budget amendment's sails when Congress enacted the Gramm-Rudman-Collins Act of 1985. Fucking worthless budget legislature. The act required automatic spending cuts that were designed to bring the federal budget more into balance. Never did.
And it failed on its own. And that failed too.
Yeah. Part of the act was held unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, and the spending cuts were not enforced fully. So it was just fucking worthless. Still, Gramm-Rudman-Collins can probably be added to the list of trophies that the Senate petition process can claim, even though no constitutional convention was held. Yeah, that would be, there were 30 plus ones in the 80s. Again, none of them ever resulted in a convention, because none have ever been held. Article 5 applications for a national convention are still active, though in recent years none have come close to the 2/3 threshold. Prior to the Supreme Court's overruling of Roe v. Wade, several states requested a convention to propose an amendment permitting a ban on abortion. The most popular fresh state request is for a convention of states endorsed by 19 states that would propose amendments for term limits on members of Congress and further limits on federal authority. So they did get one more. I thought they were stuck at 18, so they picked up a 19th, of Congress and further limits on federal authority. Other new subjects with petitions from more than one state since the 1990s include one, which was prohibiting federal judges from ordering tax increases, and two, curtailing the imposition of unfunded federal mandates on the states, and three, overruling the court's campaign finance decision in Citizens United versus Federal Election Commissions. So those are a few more that were sent in, but obviously no real number of votes on those, maybe one or two or three, who knows. Almost as popular was the trend for states to rescind all past convention petitions. From 1993 to 2011, 12 state legislatures purported to do so. While this was partly meant to clean up obsolete applications, another concern may have been the argument that every Article 5 petition should be deemed a general one because conventions cannot be limited. Yeah, well, again, that's not the law as it sits. On this reasoning, though, Congress would have long ago been required to convene a national constitutional convention, as more than 2/3 of the states have called for some sort of convention at a given time in the 20th and 21st centuries. This last point presents a puzzle. If Congress has no discretion to refuse a call by 2/3 of the states for a convention, there are disputes about how to count the applications, then who should resolve those disputes? The Supreme Court has never faced this question, but could someday if the states and Congress disagree about whether the Article 5 threshold for a convention is met. But again, it never has been in the history of our country to this day. That moves on to part 3. Ratification by state conventions.
You don't need to read it all out. I'm in the game anyway.
Okay. Are you conceding
No,
the ridiculous
I'm not.
point that there have been 238 convention of states? Does that happen?
I just read that, and it's the government's own record. So maybe the record is supposed to. Let me finish. Let me finish. Can I finish? I was going to say maybe they didn't specifically say it was the number called but not read, whatever. All it says is 233 conventions.
No, that's applications.
Well, whatever. But that's not the part we were arguing.
It's a very big difference.
It's not what we were arguing about. And
Well, it's a part of what we were
No, it's
arguing
not.
about.
No, it's not. I was reading from the document, and that had nothing to do with the actual argument. And you know it.
Well, it's a part of it. So, Article 5.
I'm not arguing. I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to. I'm done.
Okay. Well, maybe you should read a little more. It sounds like you've
if you want to keep insulting me,
imperfect information.
just go on. Keep
not
on
insulting you.
bullshit.
I'm telling
You've
you,
already called me an idiot
you're
twice.
not.
So I'm
Fine,
done.
Because you're acting like one.
I'm not. I'm
Jesus.
done.
I have researched this a little bit in the past. And as I just read again,
I'm not. Don't keep going
it
because
covers it pretty well. Because what? There's my because.
So why can't I get this fucker off the ground? Or self-destruct it?